Hey guys, July the Cloud here. Welcome back to another video of speed building. If you want to see how I did this and this and this, stay tuned and subscribe. Guys, we're home. We are recording this. I actually worked on this part of my island while I was home. I got so much work done thanks to my best friend for putting a little desk in my room that I'm staying in, and her setting it all up while she's working so I can work at the same time too, which has actually been life-changing. I've got so much work done. Right, so I'm working on the part of my island that I had absolutely no vision for, and I just want to say I think this is going to be my favorite part of the island. I'm going to be honest. I really love the way that it's coming together. I didn't have any vision. Like when I sat down, I was like, I don't know what I want to do on this side of my island. I have absolutely no vision. I'm burned out from Animal Crossing. I don't know what to do with this part of my island. And then I just forced myself to sit down and work, and I absolutely love this side of my island. I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful. So this is my third time of me re-recording my voiceover because I'm just I don't know what to talk about. And I'm do I talk about everything or do I not talk about everything? And then I'm just gonna do this video in 3 things. Right. Personal life-wise, I'm on vacation. I made it here. I will tell the story later on in the video about me getting here. It was a whole drama. It wasn't that big of a drama, but it was a pretty big drama. And then reasons why I've been so quiet, because I did say I would spill the tea. The trouble was I spent 5 months investing in a relationship that person did not invest in me back to me. So the tea is, in that relationship, I would put into this relationship because I'm put in 110%, let's move a rock for you and a mountain for you, but you want to hide behind your mountain, and I'm gonna accept that. And I stayed for too long, and then I realized that the person that I was potentially be spending the rest of my life with, and that was not the right decision for me. That's the tea on that. Just so both parties can not have anything negatively said about them, I'm just gonna put it there. It was a not so great relationship for me on my part, because anything that I gave, it was very rarely reciprocated in the relationship, and hence why I never really posted on YouTube, only when we broke up the first time. Because of the same situation, I'd move a mountain for that person would hide behind the mountain and expect me to move the mountain for them still. So that's a nice tea. So my first part of my vacation, I wasn't actually planning on doing YouTube on my vacation because I was meant to spend 2 weeks in Florida, 2 weeks in Michigan. And as much as I don't want to admit it, the best decision that ever happened was being let go of. Well, I let go first, but the other person let go too. That was the best decision because that was not going to give me the happy life that I really wanted. That person could not give me what I needed in the relationship, and the best thing that I could do was move on. And I never would have been able to put into YouTube the way that I wanted to because I was investing all of myself into this other person. And the other person could not invest themselves back into me. That was not him. That was who I think he wished he could be, but he could not be that person. And that's okay because we parted ways. So now this vacation is all about making content and having fun and getting another Animal Crossing Switch and starting a new island, potentially starting our city core island together. I am having problems with my capture card, so that is an issue on my MacBook. So if my settings are not to the normal standards, just know I'm not at home, I'm not in my own environment, and there's obviously, I'm staying with other people, so there's noises and things that are way out of my control, but we are here to make content and I'm very excited for it. I was just ready to have a month off to make content. Other things are fun, but making content is just giving me my happiness back. It was something that I could not do for those 5 months. The second thing I would talk about in this video is the second chapter to our life. The next chapter to our life, our new life. So now that we've had to start over again, which is completely fine and acceptable, I'm quitting one of my jobs when I go back to England, and I'm gonna be doing Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I still have to work a month's notice, so maybe a little bit longer, potentially, depending on how much vacation time I owe back, because I would not work there for the full year, but it's happening. So not only am I changing my life choices, I am also investing in my YouTube and Twitch career, because I just love decorating islands and making content, and this is really what makes me happy, and it's really what I want to do. And I feel like now that I have that freedom, I can invest in myself again. So I'm very excited for that. And as I said, like, I am already bought another Switch, just waiting for it to arrive so we can start like our Citycore island. So super excited for that in the future. Like, we're going to be starting it as soon as possible, obviously, depending on if my capture card wants to work while I'm here. It is like it's just having a minute, and I just find that, like, because I have to unplug it and replug it in all the time and move it, that like it just doesn't like it. And I'm pretty sure I had the same problem with my desktop at home, but then I never unplug it or move it. So it's just the fact that, like, I'm not at home in my own environment where it'd never be moved, and that I should be able to get it to work again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get it to work again. If I don't, then there's going to be no intro to this video, and I massively apologize. Okay, and then probably the last thing that I want to talk about in this video, not the last thing, but like one of the things that I will talk more in depth about, is my traveling here. So got to the airport. It was super busy. Like, I don't remember airports being this busy ever in my life. Like, I don't know if everyone just decided to travel in the year of 2023, but it was crazy busy. I spent the night in the airport as well. That was not a good decision. Good decisions were not made on this trip. Then my flight got 2 hours delayed from London to New York. Then my other flight got delayed from New York to Detroit by like 6 hours. I'm pretty sure it was meant to leave at 2:30, and we didn't leave till like 10:30 maybe 10:40. I cannot remember. We didn't land till like 12:20 or 12:10. Yeah, it was a whole 2 days of traveling. I was barely holding on. But the worst part of the situation was, like, we were sitting at the airline, and like they'd just delay it like an hour, but they wouldn't say like why it was delayed. They wouldn't communicate with us. They didn't tell us. Like, I had like the app, and the app kept updating me. Like, you get a notification and be like, oh, your flight's another hour delayed. And then they literally left the plane out in the sun, so we couldn't get on the plane because it was too hot, so they had to cool it down. And that took like 4 hours. And then after that, we had no pilot, because I'm pretty sure the pilot timed out. And so we were just like waiting for a pilot, and they'd be like, oh yeah, he'll be here at 6, he'll be here at 7:30, oh, he'll be here at 8, oh, he'll be here at 8:30. And I think at like 8:30 he did eventually get there. And then we didn't start boarding until like 9, but I'm pretty sure we didn't take off till like 10:40. Like, we had to like wait for all the international planes to, I'm pretty sure they were coming in, but I might have been wrong. I was so tired at this point. I was like on the floor, sat down in a hot airport, just like dying. Like, I needed some sleep. I hadn't ate, I hadn't drank. It was a hot mess. I would never fly with this airline again, just because our lack of communication. Like, I expect delays, but I'm also like, who leaves their plane out in the hot sun when you plan on flying it to Detroit? And like, the worst part was, this other lady was like, I'm just gonna find a different airline to fly out from New York to Detroit to, because she like had work the next day. And she like looked, and there was no flights. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we could potentially be spending the night in the airport. But no, it didn't come to that. We did eventually touch down at like midnight, I want to say, like 12 o'clock in the morning. We did eventually touch down, and I was meant to land at 5. So yeah, I expect delays, but like, the reason why it was delayed was just so stupid. Like, it wasn't even like a real reason. Like, it was like, oh, we left the plane out in the hot sun on a 90-degree day just because we didn't think. We just didn't think that. And it wasn't just like one plane. They did it to like multiple planes, or all their flights were delayed. Like, because like where their terminal is, all of like the different boarding places, like Florida, there was like Oregon, there was like so many different places, they were all delayed. And I'm like, I've never experienced this in my life. I've flown with a lot of airlines, like a lot of bigger airlines. I have never experienced this. And then the lady was like, one of the flight attendants was like, no, we don't oversell our flights or anything like that. It's just like bigger airlines, like they give their first ones away. So like, just in case someone gets delayed, there's a flight on the next one. And I'm just like, honey, I think that is untrue. I don't think that's the truth, but I didn't say that because I was like, I don't want to be rude, but I'm like, I don't think that's the case here. I think that you guys just like need to stick to like you really need to like get some time management going. But I didn't say that either because I didn't want to be rude, but I was definitely thinking it. Right, so that was like the experience with that airline, and I do have to fly home with them, and I'm scared for my life because I'm not gonna lie, when we were flying into New York, like I expect New York to be like, you know, there's lots of like, it's windy, but I swear that pilot, ooh, the way that he landed that plane, that was rough. I've never, like the poor girl next to me was holding on for her life, and I'm like, everyone was just like, everyone stopped and we're like, are we crashing or are we landing? We don't really know anymore. I figured I'd start to get worried if I saw like the oxygen masks come down. But we did land okay in the end, but it was a very turbulent landing on a very sunny day. Like I don't think it was windy in my opinion. I've flown in winter and in storms, and it was a smaller plane, so I'm not used to like such a small plane in my defense. So it could have been the fact that it's a smaller plane and that it just feels like more turbulent than bigger planes. I'm so used to flying with like bigger airlines like Virgin Atlantic or British Airways, or I'm pretty sure American Airlines, Delta, like those are like the big ones that I would normally fly with. So I think it was just like that was the issue. Once I got here, everything was okay. Like when I landed, my poor best friend dragged her kids out of bed to pick me up at the airport with her husband at like it was like midnight. We didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning. So you know you got a real one when they come and rescue you at the airport from a 6-hour delay. Thank goodness for that. And that was the thing, is like they didn't care. They didn't care that we were delayed. Their attitude was, well, you should just like plan for delays because you just don't know what can happen. And I'm like, lady, I've flown with lots of airlines. I've never seen a flight get 6 hours delayed or less. There was like weather problems. There was something wrong with like the jet or something, like an actual flight problem, not just leaving the plane out in the hot sun so it's too hot for anyone to board because it's unsafe. I'm like, I'm a frequent flyer, like not in the last few years, but before that I was a very frequent flyer, and I used to fly in like winter when it's snowy and cold and the weather and it's stormy. Like I've never had these issues. I'm just like, I think it's your airline. Like I don't know how to break it to you. I just don't think that your airline is anything special. But I like how much you're committed to making it a nice airline. Like you make it sound very, very good. I like that you put into your business, you know, like that's some commitment there. They should give you a raise, for real. You're a real one. Like they should give you a raise. I'm just not gonna fly with you again. Like it's been nice knowing ya. I'll fly home with you because I paid for it, but from now on, no budget airlines. I'm sorry, Spirit Airlines, I've never heard good things about them, but JetBlue, which is, I think they're like owned together now. Just skip it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the cheap flight. Or unless you're like, you don't mind being delayed like that long. And it's not that I mind being delayed. Like I expect delays. Like y'all, I expect delays. But like I said, when it's like no communication, no one communicated with us. Like they didn't even speak to us. They were just like, yeah, it's been delayed. The only reason why I knew that the flight was overheated is because I could hear the pilot arguing with like one of the flight attendants and one of the people to say, well, why don't we just start getting people boarded on the plane and cool it down at the same time? And like they were arguing, they're like, well, you know, I could hear the pilot literally argue and say, well, you know, from this like last year, we have been delayed. There's so many flights that have been delayed, and it's just a constant thing. And you could tell like he was just like, I'm so over this. And he ended up flying us. I think like he timed out and had to like get on a different flight because he was going to Detroit as well. Like I'm pretty sure his family was in vacation in Detroit, so that's where he was going. But I could hear him like look up other airlines so he could get to Detroit. And guess what? When I went to get my baggage, he was there in Detroit waiting for his luggage. I'm just like, thanks for abandoning us. seats in the airport, but you could tell like he was mad. He was like, all these people have paid. Like, you could just tell like he was not a happy pilot. Like he was like kind of over the situation, as I was over the situation too. So that was my traveling here. But I did get here safely, and I'm very grateful that my best friend rescued me from the airport despite the time. And we made it here for our vacation, and we've so far had a great time. We've spent a lot of money. We've ordered a Switch. We've ate a lot of food. And we bought amiibo cards. So if you haven't seen that short, you so should. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot more amiibo cards to unpackage because they're addicting, and I need to find Coco. Like with my villager hunting, guys, I'm gonna be doing amiibo cards, find Coco. I need my baby. Coco will forever be my baby. And maybe Maple, because I love Maple and I really want her on my island because she'd just be perfect for this island. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Now into what I did for my island. I put a cafe in, which I think is super cute because I wish I lived next to a little cafe. That would make me so happy in life, but I don't, because I'm addicted to coffee. I was telling my best friend, I said, hey, just so you know, I'm like toning my coffee addiction down while I'm here because you don't drink a lot of coffee and I do. So I'm like trying to tone it down so you don't think I'm that crazy of a coffee addict. I work in nursing, so we have like 10 cups of coffee. Don't judge us. That's how we stay happy. That's how we stay awake, and that's how we stay happy. Like, please don't judge me. But I probably should tone my caffeine addiction down while I'm here, while I have the month off of work. And then like the caffeine might actually work a little bit better. Not because like I feel like I have a caffeine addiction that's out of control. It's just like, you know, the caffeine don't hit the same. So we need to like tone it down, drink a little bit more water while we can sleep as much as we want, and then hit that caffeine addiction. I also want to add, I don't know how I didn't think to have the bright idea to have the cafe next to my house in the beginning. Like this literally, I randomly put this together. Like I had no vision. When I tell you I had no vision, I had no idea what I was gonna do. And I love this side of my island now. I'm like, I am obsessed with it. I don't like the peninsula that I did, and you'll see later in the video. I generally don't like it, and I think it's because my peninsula is a little bit on the small side, so I might take the terraforming down from it that I did do and redo that part of it. I wasn't the biggest fan, I will let you know that. But the rest of it, I'm obsessed with this side of my island, and I think this is the best side of my island so far. I was saving the best for last because I was gonna put my island, like my house, like the resident services house, I was gonna put that with the Coco's house, but then like there wasn't enough room up there, so I was like, fine, I won't stay next to Coco. But I gotta get rid of Patty because she is not a vibe, let me tell you. She is not a vibe for this, not for this island. I think what happened was I was villager hunting and then I fell asleep, and then they just gave me whoever, and I don't like any of them. Although I do like Lolly, but she doesn't really fit the island vibe. I think Lolly is cute, and you know, if I couldn't get rid of her, if she never got the bubble, I could just leave her there. I really want like Pecan, or I don't know. I'm not quite sure who I want yet. But I really wanted Kiki, but that was when it was a fall island, and now it's like a spring island, so I'm like, yeah, she doesn't really fit the aesthetic. So we're not gonna get Kiki. Maybe Maple. I feel like Maple would be so good here. And I actually really like that I put all these trees here. It's super fun. Like it just looks so relaxing. Like I would love to live here if I was a villager. So anytime somebody I like gets the bubble, I'm just like, do you know what I've done for you? Do you know how many hours I have like spared my life looking for you, first of all? Okay, like Coco got the bubble the other day and I'm like, just stop being so rude to me. I am the coolest person ever and you're living on the coolest island ever. I don't know how to tell you that. I'm just kidding, but I do think she lives on a pretty cool island. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't know why she wants to leave me when I spent so many streams getting her. She was so hard to get, and how she wants to leave me, like, no ma'am, do not do that. Do not leave me. You don't have a choice. You have to stay on this island forever. And Pashmina tried to leave me as well, and I'm Pashmina. Do you know how hard I looked for you too? It was a lot of streams to get you. You're staying. And then I fell in love with Bones, and I didn't even know I liked Bones until I got Bones, and I was like, I'm in love with him. So I feel like Bones is another one. Like Bones and Coco are like my main two people. I'm gonna be honest. They're like my ride or die villagers. They're my faves. Maybe when I do the Formcore Island, I don't want to do chickens, but I feel like it's a Formcore thing to do. I don't want to do chickens. You guys know how I feel about birds. Birds are banned from my island. Birds, Donkey Kongs. It's not a vibe. It's generally just not a vibe. So before we go off and make permanent decisions about our island that we haven't even finished, okay, so we're not flattening it out or restarting it. We still have like all the beaches to do, we still have the interior to do, and we still have like the right side of resident services left to do. But this is the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it through the whole video, I appreciate it, just to let you know that. And thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Like, you are gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out on a ton of new content that I have coming, so you generally don't want to miss out. I'm gonna be honest, I think Lolly has like the best garden. Like, look how big her little garden is. You know, we got the whole team here. I do feel like I do love this like little area, although I do feel like she got super spoiled because no one else has a garden that big. And I just love this cafe. It just like really puts the whole island together. Like, it's just a cute little thing that's over here in the corner, and I just absolutely adore it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.